Welcome, trendsetters. We are Alicia and Nicole from Positive Image. As salon owners, hairstylists, and business coaches, we're here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the beauty industry and discover the secrets to creating a thriving salon business. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up in your salon chair, and let's dive into the world of hair, style, and entrepreneurship together.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we're talking about leaders, what that looks like, how to be one, which, like everything we talk about on Positive Image, there's more than one way.
There's so many ways.
There's so many ways. There's some key ways. We're all individuals, same as our staff. So understanding the basics and then learning how to do it your way.
And I think even understanding what your leadership style is, and as long as you're open to growth and open to learning or trying something different too.
I like that angle. That makes me think of a key thing, I think, for owners as well as leaders is being curious. And that's also something key to look for in your staff.
Yes.
Curiosity. Curiosity is like the best. It's like the magic word.
So I saw this reel about it was one of these, you should do this one thing to all new hires. And if they don't want to do it or they turn their own nose up on it, then you shouldn't hire them. And it was all around goal setting and getting them to write down the new hire, write down their top 5 or top 10 goals that they want to achieve this year. And then really honing in and circling 1 or 2. And if they're the type of person that is a bit more flighty or a bit more flippant about like whether they want to have the goals or I don't need goals, then maybe they're not the right hire.
Love that.
I always have to bring the mindset. Through every Positive Image podcast. There's always going to be a little bit of mindset.
Oh, it's amazing. And we love you for it. You keep us motivated. I think I think it's great. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but I would say that knowing you and having you in my life has helped me get out of my mindset ruts. So thank you. And we very muchly so appreciate your endless positivity. which I'm sure all of us are just like, but how do you do that? And I'm an optimist. I would say I'm still an optimist, but I don't know. You have some kind of magical way of just silver lining, positive outlook. I love it. It's great.
Thank you. So now I'm going to be grinning ear to ear for the rest of the podcast.
Amazing. That's what we want. We want that. Everyone else will feel that, like the smile when you answer the phone.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Total side tangent here, to use your words. I had an employee years ago before I knew how to be a leader who there's some people in my life that I refer to as Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And Eeyore, not in a negative sort of way, but it's the like, oh no, lost my tail again, or oh, it's my birthday and nobody cares. Just this like big sourpuss. And so unfortunately, and fortunately, we parted ways. And her last word to me is, who the fuck smiles when they answer the phone? Really? You have to make your staff do that? She's walking out the door. And it's just like, yeah, wow, you can really hear the smile through the phone when you answer it. And that's one of the biggest things that I train my staff on when they're answering the phone is smile, 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 smile. It's so important. So yes, having that positive side is very important.
It sounds like a big ask. There really is not. And I think that falls in line, the same thing with curiosity. Like if you're not curious to try it, or someone isn't curious to try it, and I'm a know-it-all, I'm a judgy, opinionated Virgo, all the things, very confident, very like got it figured out person. But I can still be curious to be like, I think that's stupid. But like, let's see how it goes. Because maybe I'm wrong.
Please prove me wrong.
Yeah, like I'm rooting. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm rooting for it. But I think that also goes to one of the first things that I personally think are key, and maybe you don't agree. I don't know, is active listening to be a leader. I think often as leaders, we think it's all about delegating and telling people what to do. And that's a portion. We need to be organized and be able to manage a team. But to me, that's management, not leading. And I think leading is more about listening.
And I'd even go even deeper with the listening. It's the hearing versus just listening. And it's this
Mm.
in the same regard of responding versus reacting. Don't sit there and anticipate what the person who's talking to you is going to say. Really listen, and don't listen with your head, listen with their heart. It's the same when we're doing consultations. We're really listening between the words that they're saying, trying to understand what the client wants. Listening to your staff when they're speaking to you is just as important to hear what they really are saying and what they really want you to hear. I'm horrible for this. I'm usually doing two or three things at the same time. And this year I'm trying to make a really hard effort of like if my staff is talking to me, put my phone down and look them in the eye and really pay attention, lean in and really pay attention to what they're saying and really listen to them because there's so much value about being heard and especially from your boss being heard.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And relating it to clients and reading between the lines is also a great point. And like asking the questions, because I think often, right, when we are having a conversation with anyone, is we listen and we decide what someone is trying to say without asking a follow up of what did you mean by that? Or did you mean this thing? Or why did you think that? Or like just have follow up questions when you're listening that are not from a judgmental place. Something really valuable that I have learned from a coaching in the past is to love someone where they're at. It's not easy, but I think it has given me so much value in that we assume that everyone else is us because we only know us and we only know our experience. So to assume that someone else knows everything we know is silly. We have to accept them from where they're at, love where they're at, so that we can then actually listen and hear where they're at and see what they need from where they're at, not from where we are. I think as humans, that's the really challenging thing is to not project what we already have and the tools that we already have when someone else might not have those tools. And maybe they're asking for help and they just don't know how to ask for help.
Yeah.
So listening, active listening, hearing, asking the questions. And then I think another area that comes with that is by having conversations and actively listening and hearing what people are saying to us, it is our job, I believe, to find areas that our team could succeed if they're curious to do so. And finding ways that we can delegate, allow them to step into roles where they lead by default and not really realize that they're leading.
When you think about your team, do you know where each of their strengths lies that you can delegate to that person?
I would say for the most part, sometimes it takes some bumps. Sometimes I put them in situations where I'm like, maybe like this is what you're saying. I don't know if it necessarily is your strength, but I'm gonna kind of like push you there. Maybe you just need some practice. Um, but I would say for the most part, I can see what they're capable of. If it is a bit more of a push, I will ask first if that's something that they'd be interested in doing and see how they feel about it. Because I definitely also see things that I think people excel at, and it is something that terrifies them and something that they wouldn't want to do at all whatsoever. And I do believe in pushing people to succeed and pushing them a bit out of their comfort zone. However, with that, if you push too hard, you actually make someone go backwards in their growth, development, whatever it is. And so I don't want to push too hard. Fun story, I've actually had someone leave because I thought it was time for them to move from apprenticeship to being a stylist on the floor. And like 2 weeks later, they gave me their notice, even though they're like, yeah, 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 let's do it. So you do have to be mindful of how much you're pushing and actually listening and hearing what they're saying. And then when you do push them into these roles or these positions, is see what see whether they're actually exceeding at it or they're kind of like what's the saying, phoning it in. I want to use other language, but that's the cleanest language I can think of. That's a saying, right? Phoning it in
Yeah.
when you're like, not even gonna try.
Yeah, they're kind of giving up the ghost.
Yeah, giving up the ghost. Okay. I like all these sayings. Sorry. I'm awful at sayings, FYI. But yeah, putting people into educating roles, training roles, or like, delegating different kinds of tasks around the salon that don't need to get done or don't need to get done by me, sorry. Things like specific types of tasks that just get done every day and like purposely putting one stylist or one employee with another employee and having that person show the other person how to do it. Like really little things like that. It doesn't have to be like, here's a whole new role, here's a whole new position. It's just like kind of like how you have a great way. I think we've talked about it. Oh, maybe we just talked about it in our master classes about how you pair your assistants or apprentices with your new hire stylist so that that way they can kind of create a connection with each other. But then they also work together to grow each other.
Yeah, and it helps that there's no hierarchy in that regard. Like they kind of feel like they're on the even playing field. It's not like, well, they're the assistant, they're going to do everything for you. No, they're going to teach you and show you how to be in the salon and what to do in the salon.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. Like
Hmm.
there are so many ways that we can listen and hear what our and see for ourselves because I think that is part of leadership is being able to see in someone what they're capable of before they ever even imagine being capable of it.
Yeah.
But also asking the questions of what they want.
When I think of leadership, I like these there's 6 attributes that I try and like really put myself and be as close to the best to my own ability. And the top one for me has always just been effective communication. Like as a leader, you need to be able to effectively communicate what's going on in your brain to the person in front of you. And if you can't have that conversation, or be able to really get a clear picture of what you need to get done, then you're not going to be effective, and things are going to get lost in translation.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And what this does is it fosters trust as well. I trust that if I'm telling you something, that you're going to take that information and do what you need to do with it, and you're trusting me as the boss that I'm clearly communicating with you exactly what I need you to do. So that really kind of strengthens the relationship between the employer and the employer, and it helps to strengthen the team, and it helps really to focus towards a common goal within the team together. The next one that I find works like that I really try and have is empathy towards my staff, and not just rule with an iron fist, and rule with understanding, and then trying to address like the needs and the feelings of the others. So those are the 2 most important ones that I've found like through the leadership. Do you have ones that you really like to focus on?
I think I was just thinking to myself how it's changed and evolved through the years as you talk about an iron fist. And also when you talk about like effective communication, I feel like for me, those things I was very strict when I first opened. I'm much more lax now. To which I actually have a stylist who's commented or joked before of like, oh, if you knew Alicia before. Yeah. And then I think there's also the side of like, I I can communicate. And I think you've also, thank you, commented that you think I am a good communicator. But not everyone always understands what I'm saying, especially if I'm in task mode and I'm walking around being like, this needs to get done. This needs to get done. You're not doing anything. Let me find something for you to do because you haven't figured that out yet. So I'm going to find you something to do. I think that communicator is not maybe as effective. And I think maybe even that, like just having that self-awareness also as a an owner, a leader, to think of like, well, what am I doing? What are my actions? How is that being perceived? And what can I do to grow myself so that I can be a better leader? Um, and being able to have those conversations too, right?
Well, I think sometimes what you can also do, like if you have a staff member who isn't understanding the way that you communicate, is what is the best way for me to deliver you information? Do you need me to write it down? Am I good with
Mhm.
just randomly giving you assigned tasks? Do you need like a to-do list?
Mhm.
Or are you good at doing these things yourselves? And just having that conversation beforehand, or even when you've hired them, what's your learning style? Do you know what your learning style is?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's all great.
And just because I know I said that I have 6 that I really do. So in case people are wondering what the other 4 are as well, it's integrity, adaptability, decisiveness, and inspiration.
I
So
like those.
with empathy and communication. Those, to me, those are the 6 main keys of a really good leader who has those qualities. And you're not going to be perfect in every single quality, but if you can
Mhm.
have 2 that you really kind of like me, where the communication and the empathy, like those are the 2 that I've really grabbed onto and tried to become the best leader I can possibly be within those qualities. And then the other 4 that I'm just integrating and trying to work on a little bit more as well. And I think also being your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
That one hits home as a child.
Yeah.
There's nothing growing up from like adolescence into adulthood. There's nothing I couldn't stand more than seeing adults promise things to small children because children remember everything and they don't understand that you're just saying something, so they stop asking. I get that it's kind of gross to be like, I'm their mother for my team and that they're my children. But at the same time, there is a bit of that because I'm just a motherly type in general. And I think if I say I'm going to do something, I think it holds the same weight as it does for a child asking an adult a question, or if they're going to get to do something and the adult promises something. And by promise, I don't mean you saying promise, I mean you stating, yes, on Tuesday, we will do this. That is a promise to someone else, whether you say it's a promise or not. So I think that's a really good one. I think also for me, as I've learned over the last decade on how to be a better leader, I think one of the things that I think comes naturally to me, but also has been really important and valuable to my team is being honest with who I am.
Mm.
And so I remember for myself, there was someone that I had who was, looking to me for mentorship and also seeking out a different space to work, and they shared their issues. And so part of my interview process is that I have them come in for a second interview where they're in the space and I just want to see how they are. And this person kind of just followed me around and didn't really like jump into anything or jump in with the team. And for me, that was like oh yeah, no, if you need micromanagement, hand holding, me to tell you what to do every single time, you can't work under me because I will be your worst nightmare. I'm not the nicest person if I have to micromanage things. And I lean very easily into being a micromanager. I'm the kind of person that was like a full-time leadership role in retail at 16. So that that's just I put out the orders. They're not necessarily nice. They're not sugar coated. They're just this is what needs to get done. I don't care about your feelings, kind of when I'm in that role. And I think after that, I went forward and every single interview, I literally told people, and I put it into our policies that you need to be able to be independent while working within a team. And I would literally say to them, if that is not the space that you thrive, I am not the boss for you. I will not be able to lead you in a way that you will be happy. And I think those kind of things of like knowing yourself and communicating that is so important as part of leadership because if you're bringing someone in and they have different expectations and you haven't expressed the who you are and what kind of space they're coming into, then you're just going to end up with a really unhappy situation and have to hire again.
Or they could bring the morale of the team down too.
100%.
It takes like one bad seed, or if you have a goldfish tank and you introduce one fish that doesn't get along with everybody else, like you've
Done.
just tainted the water.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that really understanding and knowing yourself, and again, knowing what your leadership style is and how you can best attract the right team that needs your leadership style to you, it really boils down to getting curious about yourself, really having a good understanding and trying to work on, I think communication is the most important factor of a good leader. So really working on your communication style and your listening. There are some fantastic books and there's some fantastic resources out there if you do want to improve and really learning about yourself more. And we're always here to have that conversation with you as well.
We sure are.
We sure are.
Non-judgmentally.
We listen and we don't judge.
Oh my gosh, yes. We listen and we don't judge. Such, I don't know. I don't know. What would life be without social media? Anyways, do we want to throw in the last little piece?
At the time of this recording, it is the end of the year. And Alicia and I were both talking about what we do for our team in regards to bonuses and how that actually can play such a strong leadership role is acknowledging what your team has done for essentially your business at the end of the year. Like they've chosen to work for you. They've chosen to put their hard sweat and I'm sure tears sometimes into your business to see you succeed. So I know I love giving a bonus to the staff at the end of every year. And the bigger their bonus, the more I'm happy to give it because it means that they've worked hard. So my bonus structure within my team is 1% of their service sales for the entire year.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then we also, this started after COVID, we actually close the week between Christmas and New Year's, and that's when I give the bonus. And so it helps to offset that week off as well for them.
I see. Instead of paying them an hourly for that time.
Yeah.
I think
They get the
great.
vacation pay for the days, but we've been able to be off for the past 9 days, which is really nice after working our butts off before Christmas.
Yeah. I want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
how do you prepare for that throughout the year? Do you prepare for that throughout the year?
No, no. But I feel
How
like
could you prepare for that throughout the
yes.
year?
You could prepare for that by looking at what their totals are per month and then stashing away that 1% per person in the bank account or have a second bank account that is your savings account. That's probably the most effective way to do it. I don't really know what another way to like prepare for that for the end of year bonus. I know
That would
for
be the best
us,
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas time is just busy, so there is I don't want to say an abundance of money, but there is more money coming in that
Mhm.
can help offset that. But at the end of the day, yeah, looking at the month by month or even paycheck by paycheck and just stashing that 1% away is going to be, and if you want to make it, 1.5 and then the rest of that is your own bonus, then hey, why not do that?
Ooh-ha. I'm into that. I think that's a nice way of like also just even personal, like if you set it and forget it, if you take it off the top, you don't factor that into your expenses. You know?
Exactly.
I think that's great.
Exactly. And you did something new with your team this year.
I did because I am not the best complimenter naturally. And one of the complaints that I've received from employees over the decade is that I could compliment more. And I try to, and I swear it sounds like the fakest compliment ever because I'm seeking ways to give a compliment because it's just not I'm good I'm just the person who's excited because you're cleaning and organizing. It's just I don't know. I That's what I get excited about. Where we were talking about my OCD, my mild, very mild, undiagnosed OCD about how I like things. And my team is very aware that they can do a task and I will likely adjust it. But I'm happy that I had help getting it done. Anyway, so what I saw on another thread of another salon owner doing an award. And I was like, that is great. I can do an award. And so just went to Canva, found a cute little award, whatever pre-done template. And I sat down and I thought about things that I feel that my team excelled at, showed up as, and not entirely hair related, more just like as the individual. And at our little holiday party, I gave them those awards along with their bonuses, which I do, I guess, a simplified version, but I would say yours is probably still more. I do 10% typically of their average paycheck as their bonuses, and just gave them that. And I always do other little gifts. I love gifting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm def if I had $1 million in just like excess money, I would give people things nonstop. It's not good.
So we know your love language.
But I don't like gifts. I don't like receiving gifts.
Hmm,
Unless of course it's like I only like receiving gifts if you know me and it is most definitely something I will like. But
interesting.
I don't like gifts for the sake of gifts.
You don't want trinkets and trash.
No, no, because I don't like waste. And then I'm not gonna lie, it's my grandmother was Jehovah's Witness growing up. And so they don't celebrate holidays. But one of the reasons why they don't celebrate holidays is because there's like sort of this one story and like this woman wanted to head. I could be getting all this wrong because I was a small child when I found out about this. But I always liked that if it's not that they can't gift, it's that you can't expect gifts or gift on these specific days where gifts are expected. It's that you should be giving a gift because you saw something and thought of someone and really wanted to give them a gift from your heart. So to me, that's the I can't always express with my words how important someone is. I've gotten better. It feels less vulnerable to express that love, but gifts are kind of that way of being like, I thought of you, I see you,
Hmm.
which is a whole nother leadership level of like thinking of people and seeing them. Anyway, so that was what we did, and they had said that they loved it. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if they were going to think it was stupid or if
That's
They
great.
loved it. But they were like, no, this is actually one of your ideas that we like.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I hope the listener really takes something from this, and whether we've given them an idea or something to focus on, or even just an extra bonus for the end of the year. We're having our Christmas party. I think by the time this recording has been released, we'll have already had our Christmas party. So I might actually take your certificate
Do it.
because I think we were supposed to actually go out for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really hard with different things. And
Mm-hmm.
I got one quote for bowling that was almost $2,000 for 3 hours of bowling. I was quite shocked. And I'm treating my staff actually we're going to New York in March to go to the IBS, which is the a hair show in New York. So we've decided to do something a bit smaller, and I'm hosting the entire team at my house, and we're just going to do like a small little catering thing and a murder mystery night. So that's going to be so that might be the perfect thing at the end, is to have these
I love
certificates that
it.
we hand out. So hopefully
I love it.
I don't ruin this for any of my staff that listen to this. But we'll see what happens.
Well, they'll be waiting.
They'll be waiting. Exactly. How does she view me? How does she see me? I hope the listener and anybody out there has gotten some really good information. And please reach out to us if you would love to chat about this more. We're available on everywhere.
Everywhere. And share us. Please share us. Post us on your Instagram. Share this if you felt like you got anything of it. We've been so grateful that we've been growing and getting more views, and we'd love to see that continue to grow. Because at the end of the day, we just want everyone to get a little bit of knowledge and help, because it is not easy doing this all on your own and figuring it out step by step all on your own. So please share, and thank you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Take this knowledge and just keep developing yourself. And hey, we want to hear from you too. Join the conversation using our hashtag #PositiveImagePodcast. Share your thoughts, questions, and success stories. Who knows, we might just feature you on an upcoming episode. Don't keep us a secret. Tag your friends too. Want to keep learning? Check out our show notes. Find us on Instagram at hello.positiveimage, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode filled with inspiration and insights.